I hope he doesn't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
Alright, disclaimer, I went into this dark. Last January, I had no idea the story of Ichabod Crane was on this tape. So despite watching it, 10 months ago, I wanted to save it for Halloween. So now let's jump back into the past and do it for the present. Ad for Madeline, Lost in Paris. Remember that nightmare? She ends up in a sweatshop and the owner cuts little girl's hair off for punishment. That's oddly scarier than any movie Disney ever put the word Halloween on. Ad for Disney, Robin Hood Playhouse. It's available now. What is this thing? It's like giant cardboard walls that you can actually set up and go inside. Well, I mean, I couldn't, but a kid could. Someone out there bought that. Someone out there has that folded and stored in their garage. It's a giant collection of bent and dirty cardboard, but 30 years ago, the kids begged for it and it was super expensive, so pride just won't let you drop it in the recycling bin, and I get it, it's okay. I know nothing about this movie. No one talks about it. It's not represented in anything Disney like ever. There's never any clips of it in any Disney montage or sizzle reel. I don't know the plot, these characters, or the year it came out. Alright, Bugs Life ad from the creators of Toy Story and nothing else, because this was Pixar's second movie apparently. Weird. Brave Little Toaster trilogy ad. Yes, trilogy. Okay, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. We get a choir singing about Ichabod and Mr. Toad in case you missed the giant title 7 seconds ago. Credits first. So it's an older Disney movie. Weird energy today. We go from a drawing and it dissolves into a real video of a bookcase. A narrator asks, "Who's the most famous character of all?" He says, "Whatever you thought was the right answer, you were wrong." Ouch. Is Mr. Toad... This is Mr. Toad from Wind in the Willows. That is weird. Disney owns that franchise as well. I had no idea. I also found Wind in the Willows creepy as all hell when I was a kid. It was dull pastel colors, same as Winnie the Pooh. Just giving kids what they want. Bland fall colors. Regardless, we meet Mr. Toad's friends, a mole and a rat. The rat receives a letter. It's a plea for them to come to Toad Hall at once. Toad's, quote, cost follies has driven him to the brink of bankruptcy. Whee! Money problems! This is entertaining escapism at its finest. Wait, the rat and the mole are the duo that asks Scrooge McDuck for a charity donation in the Disney telling of A Christmas Carol. That's fun. I had no idea where they were from. Toad finally shows up, leaving a trail of destruction behind him as his horse and stagecoach plow through everything in its path. Toad is all about adventure, and I know he's supposed to represent carelessness, but I kind of want to party with him. He seems really fun to be around. I actually already love this Toad character. Delete what I said earlier about Wind in the Willows. I like the way he looks, I like the way he dresses, and I like the way he just absolutely shuts down everyone every time they tell him to grow up. Just a big smirk on his face. A car approaches. Gad, what is it? A Mordecai? Should we know who a Mordecai is? Oh no, a motor car! A motor car! Toad loses his mind and makes motor car noises in his own little world until they throw water in his face and lock him in his bedroom. Their names are Moley and Ratty. Some writer was working overtime on this one. Quote, Toad wanted a motor car. If you had to beg, borrow, or hard cut to a newspaper headline, Mr. Toad arrested. Slow clap. That was comedy gold. That was some good timing. A+ Disney. They're now in court and Rat and Mole are taking the stand to defend him. They call Sir Proudbottom. His horse's name is Sir Proudbottom. He reenacts Mr. Toad breaking out of his room, getting on the horse, and watching a group of robber weasels hopping out of a car. Mr. Toad stands behind the car, inhales the exhaust, and gets all glassy-eyed. My man. He wants the car, so he goes into the bar to try to buy it from the weasels, but he has no money, so he offers a trade to the weasels. He traded Toad Hall to the Weasels for the motor car. Mr. Toad is an absolute party. Back in court, they call the next witness Mr. Winky, the bar owner, the guy who witnessed the signing of the deed. Winky betrays Toad and says, Mr. Toad tried to sell him a stolen motor car. Guilty. Toad in jail. They appeal over and over and over. Wow, what a kid's movie. This is so much fun. We go to a wide shot of the jail at Christmas time, and someone made a snowman out of the Sesame Street aliens. Okay, this is it. I have no idea what this is from. I took a picture of it off the TV on my phone, and I swear, it's an alien from Sesame Street. Look at it. Yep. Toad is alone in his cell with a ball and chain. He promises to never give in to any of his, quote, manias ever again. That's dark. Since it's Christmas, he gets a visitor, which is his grandma, but it's really his horse in a dress. And then he gives him a gift, and the gift is a dress. And I mean, I've never been, but wearing a dress in prison, not sure that's the best idea. That might turn into someone else's Christmas real quick. Oh, it's part of an escape plan. Toad escapes. The policeman finds him, but since he's a toad in a woman's dress, the policeman tips his hat and says, "Good evening, ma'am." Toad steals a train, and he's just pure relentless lunacy. There's no way this is how he acted in the old Wind of the Willow stuff. Wind of the Willow seems as exciting as watching Winnie the Pooh, watching Paddington Bear, watching paint dry. J. Thaddeus Toad ends up in the lake but has successfully escaped from prison. On Christmas Eve, I like this story, at the table, Bull and Rat are saying prayers and talking about Christmas charity. Yes! Thank you, I love it. This is the kind of attention to detail that matters. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't. When you're writing or creating something and you have the opportunity to connect the dots and nod to the viewers paying close attention, always take it. They get word that Winky has the deed to the town hall, so Mr. Toad was innocent. He busts through the door, and they all decide they have to prove his innocence and get the deed back from Winky. So Rat, Mole, Toad, and Old Man Badger go for a boat ride through the fog. This is great. They're on their way to the secret underground caverns beneath Toad Hall. Toad sees a guard and wants to shoot him. Toad has no to give. Winky and his pals have all passed out from drinking. So Merry Christmas, Disney fans. Winky is sleeping with the deed. He's cuddling it. That's awesome. They lower Mole from the ceiling to grab the deed, but then they accidentally drop Mole and he lands on Winky, and everyone wakes up and fights over the deed. I feel like I've seen these weasel characters before, the guys with clubs, but maybe it just kind of reminds me of a mashup of the terrifying fox and bear from Splash Mountain. The weasels are all trying to stab and or pound, the four of them. No one is screwing around in this movie. They get the deed and they make their escape, and Toad's name is cleared. We get a reformed Toad, and All Lang Syne, the New Year's Eve song plays for the new year. They celebrate his reform, but no, now he's obsessed with planes. Oh no, now the book closes and we get Ichabod and No Way. This is the legend of Ichabod Crane. I totally remember this from childhood. I haven't thought about this short in like 30 years. Let's get dark for Halloween, folks. Let's get spooky. We get an amazing animation of a graveyard and we meet Ichabod Crane. I can't escape the deja vu from this. He wanders into the town of Sleepy Hollow. This is everything I need. The ominous colors, the blues, the blacks. This is old school Disney at its absolute greatest. We sing about Ichabod Crane. Despite his appearance, he's quite the ladies' man. Slip Piggins in Sleepy Hollow, I guess. The Hantestals come. Rich Mr. Van Hassel and his oddly busty for a Disney movie daughter, Katrina. I know. I gotta Google the year this movie came out. 1949. Wow. Ichabod is so smitten with Katrina that he puts a chicken on his head, sits on a cake, and eats his hat. It's a nice reminder of simpler times when a chicken on your head was a symbol that you were interested in someone. All the other men are vying for her attention as well. There's a Gaston prototype, and Katrina denies the advancement of this town hunk. No, the stunning beauty turns down the muscular guy with the great hair because she is smitten with the awkward, gangly school teacher. Yep, and people complain Disney gives little girls unreasonable romantic expectations. No one punches a wall like this guy, falls in a well like this guy, loses a girl to a school teaching nerd like this guy. It's time for the dance at Town Hall. Ichabod dances with the beauty while the hunk stews in the corner. He sees a woman sitting by herself and thinks, hey, if he can get her to dance with him, then when they're on the floor, he can swap this girl with Katrina, and then Ichabod will dance with this girl, and he will end up with Katrina. Not surprisingly, that plan doesn't work. So the hunk throws the other woman into a closet and leans a chair against it. Wow, the 1949 dating scene was hard on the ego. The dance ends and Ichabod starts kissing up Katrina's arm, and all the other women are swooning over him. The hunk guy starts singing about Halloween curses. The VHS tape starts glitching, and shut up, this technology is awesome. So I'm not sure why poor Ichabod is now going through the dark forest alone on his horse. But I'm watching this on VHS the way Walton God intended it to be watched. He starts seeing ghosts who turn out to be trees. Again, this is wonderful animation. Love when old Disney does spooky. Ichabod is slowly losing his mind. He's finally over it, not scared anymore, when the headless horseman appears and chases him. Soak this in. This is one of the greatest Disney villains ever. Where is this guy's action figure? Where is his refillable cup? Where is the Headless Horseman plush? This guy should sit at the same table as the devil from Fantasia. This is history. We hear about how he heard as soon as you cross the bridge, the ghost powers end. So there's a plan. Bro, cross the bridge. He gets close to it. Then he turns around like a bumbler. The Headless Horseman is actually trying to cut him with his sword. He gets clotheslined by a low tree branch. He goes head over heels and lands sitting on the same horse as the Headless Horseman. He's behind him. I remember this scene so vividly watching when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. He ends up back on his own horse because he gets clotheslined again. He just gets across the bridge when the horseman throws a flaming pumpkin at him and everything goes black. Why do I like this so much? The next morning, only a shattered pumpkin remains. Katrina marries the hunk and lessons are learned. Rumors are Ichabod is alive and married one town over, but the people know he's really dead. Victim of the Headless Horseman. The fact that the VHS tape was going for the last 10 minutes took a little steam out of it, but it gets a complete pass. I love the Ichabod short. Some of Disney's best work right there. That holds up to the stuff they were doing in the 90s. What a weird little 2-movie in 1 VHS tape. I gotta look this up. The film is the last of the studio's package film era of the 1940s. Following Saludos Amigos, The Three Amigos, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, and Melody Time. Disney would not produce another package film until The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in March 1977. Beginning in 1955, the 2 portions of this film were separated and televised as part of the Disneyland television series. They were later marketed and sold separately on home video. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is the only Disney movie to star Basil Rathbone and Bing Crosby. On Rotten Tomatoes, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad has an approving rate of 93%.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the